all about changes in income tax rules from 1st of April onward. And one vehicle, one FASTag norm made mandatory starting today. Those with more than one FASTag for their vehicles won't be able to use the older ones from today onward. And electric vehicles are set to become more expensive as FAME subsidies end today. New electric vehicle policy comes into force. Electric two-wheelers and three-wheelers could be about 10% more expensive starting today. Edelweiss's Radhika Gupta shares tips on investing for children and why buying home is important if not an investment. And Apple emerges as the top job creator for Indian ecosystem, employing over 150,000 directly since PLI scheme was launched. And RBI's MPC to meet later this week. Policy meeting of the central bank's rate setting panel for financial year 25 will be from 3rd to 5th of April 2024. And the Reserve Bank of India will also be celebrating its 90th year today. The anniversary will be kick-started by Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, in a ceremony in Mumbai in presence of RBI Governor Shaktikanta and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, among others. And we're tracking, of course, all those stories here on Newsline. It's 1st of April today, which marks the start of the new financial year 24-25. It comes with some crucial money-related changes that will have an impact on the way you spend your money as well as invest it. Taxpayers note starting today the new tax regime that was introduced as the default tax regime will be default from 1st of April. With the introduction of the new tax regime, taxpayers will need not maintain a track record of travel tickets as well as rent receipts. The income tax rule changes from 1st of April will make sure that taxpayers can get rid of a complex tax planning structure, and changes will be simplifying tax planning for the authority as well as for you, the people. Now, with the introduction of the income tax rules changes from 1st of April, the basic exemption limit has been elevated from 2.5 lakh rupees to 3 lakh rupees. Now, what does it really mean for people who are trying to save, and what other changes will also come into force? To discuss that, with me is Karthik Malhotra. Karthik, very good morning. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
It's 1st of April. A majority of few changes will be kicking in today. What really changes for taxpayers?
So I think let's start with the basics, the brass tacks, and what you mentioned absolutely correctly, that the new tax regime is now going to be the default tax regime, unless of course you decide to opt for the old tax regime. Now, what are the slabs within this new tax regime? I think this is something which has been in effect for a while now, and it kicks in from the 1st of April, where you have no tax on salary up to 3 lakh rupees. So up to 3 lakh rupees in the new tax regime is absolutely zero tax. And then the tax slab increases 5% every 3 lakh rupees. So from 3 lakh rupees to 6 lakh rupees, there's only a 5% tax on the balance 3 lakh rupees. Post 6 lakhs, 6 to 9 lakhs, you will see a tax slab of 10% kicking in, thereafter 15%, thereafter 20%. And then for those who are drawing an income of 15 lakh rupees or more will be subjected to a 30% flat tax rate. Now, interestingly, for those ultra high net worth individuals who make 5 crore rupees or more every year, the surcharge has actually been reduced from 37% earlier to about 26% now. So these are the broad changes that come into effect from the 1st of April, which is today. But that's not all. There are also some positive changes coming by way of EPFO. So I think interestingly, what the EPFO has decided to do now for employees who are switching jobs, you don't now have to literally make those claims of transferring your old PF balance from your old employer's linked ID to the new employer. This is something from the 1st of April that the EPFO is going to do directly. So every time there's a job change, you don't have to manually fill up those tedious forms and log into the EPFO website to transfer your balance from one account to another. It is going to be absolutely automated. So every time you start your new job, your old balance reflects in the new ID, which is linked to your new employer. So no manual paperwork to be done. You also mentioned, the one FASTag, one vehicle, one FASTag policy.
I want to come to that because there are other changes as well. So let me quickly apprise our viewers on what happens if you're a vehicle owner and if you have more than one FASTag today, you're going to find yourself struggling. The National Highways Authority will make one vehicle, one FASTag initiative mandatory starting today. Now, initiative, remember, aims to discourage user behavior of using single FASTag for multiple vehicles or linking multiple FASTags to one particular vehicle. Now, multiple FASTag users are expected to, of course, discard their earlier issued FASTag through their respective bank only latest FASTag account shall remain active, as previous tags will be deactivated or blacklisted starting today. And now this is another policy measure that kicks into place,
That's
which
right.
essentially also means that if you have multiple vehicles that are attached to that one FASTag, what really happens? Will that not work, or will the vehicle not move through a toll plaza if you have just one FASTag and you have multiple vehicles that you're using it for?
So what is definitely going to happen now, and this is something with which the FASTag initiative was actually launched, that every vehicle, the government should be able to identify, and the traffic authorities and cops should be able to identify the movement of vehicles across national highways and state highways for that matter. Now, what people were doing smartly was that perhaps purchasing just one FASTag, temporarily sticking it on the windscreen, and then every time you're changing a vehicle, you would rip off that temporarily stuck FASTag and put it in the other vehicle.
Actually,
and
a lot
drive.
of people
and
are
also
not even
sharing.
sticking it,
and,
you know.
Yeah, exactly, just holding it
just
up.
holding
right.
it up,
and,
yes.
and then sharing of these FASTags, right? This is something that had become rampant, not as much for drivers of passenger vehicles, more so for fleet operators who had hordes of commercial vehicles plying from one city to another. And this is something that, the government has come down heavily on. And now the rule kicks in that every FASTag is going to be registered with a particular vehicle's registration number. Now, anytime any other vehicle is seen or caught using a FASTag not linked to that vehicle, there are going to be impositions of fines, and there are going to be some serious repercussions coming their
And
way.
if you have multiple FASTags which are linked to one vehicle, in which case your older FASTags will also
exactly.
be deactivated
so
and
in
blacklisted.
case you have, for example, if you have not yet ported out of the Paytm FASTag and you have opted for another FASTag, then the Paytm FASTag will automatically get deactivated, or any other recently acquired FASTag is going to be the latest FASTag linked to that particular vehicle.
All right.
All older ones are going to get discarded anyway.
Okay, and that is as far as if you're a vehicle owner. But if you are looking to also buy EV or an electric vehicle, here's what changes. The new electric mobility promotion scheme by the Indian government will be implemented starting today, with a total outlay of about 500 crore rupees to support the adoption of electric 2- and 3-wheelers for a 4-month period from 1st of April, which is today, up until 31st of July 2024. The scheme, the subsidy for electric 2-wheelers has now been reduced to about 5,000 kilowatt from rupees 10,000 kilowatt, while the maximum benefit will be 10,000 rupees per vehicle. Now, new policy will result in a significant rise in the initial purchase cost of not just electric bikes but also scooters. They will see a reduction from previous subsidies when compared to FAME 2 scheme, which has now ended as of last night. This will lead to at least a 10% increase in the cost of electric 2-wheelers. At least for now, it looks like electric 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers will become more expensive.
So as I see it, they will perhaps not become more expensive, but they will not be as cheap as the previous FAME subsidy had made them. So there is still going to be a discount, while that discount comes down from 10,000 per kilowatt hour to 5,000 rupees per kilowatt hour, and a 10% increase in the previous subsidized cost of the vehicle will make it dearer when compared to the scheme that was in play up until now, which was FAME 2. But with FAME 2 having been discontinued, I think this leftover balance of about 500 crore rupees or thereabouts has not seen a sort of new FAME subsidy scheme kick off. There were expectations of FAME 3 and an increased outlay from the government. That hasn't happened until now. But this leftover 500 crore rupees in the coffers of the government, which was allocated for FAME 2, has now been shifted to this new electric vehicle scheme. Now, I suspect that 31st July or thereabouts, in fact, before 31st July, the new government, whichever government comes to power, would have announced the budget for the financial year, right? We saw the interim budget on the 1st of February, but the real final budget for FY25 will be announced before 31st of July. And there should be some tinkering in adoption of electric and hybrid vehicles in the July budget speech of whichever finance
FAME
minister.
3 could
FAME
into
3
force.
or FAME 2 3.0 or whatever new nomenclature or existing nomenclature we come with. I think the expectation of the industry is to also ensure that the FAME subsidy or any other electric vehicle ownership subsidy, beyond the immediate income tax relief that the consumer gets, should also translate to four-wheelers and not be restricted only to two-wheelers and three-wheelers. So I think with Tesla likely to now definitely drive into India with that reduced 15% import duty, there is going to be something that the government will have to do for domestic EV four-wheeler passenger vehicle manufacturers to incentivize consumers switching from traditional ICE engines to electric or hybrid engines, and some sort of an announcement of some incentive, if not FAME 3 or an EV policy, but some sort of an incentive should be announced before the exhaustion of this 500 crore rupee on the 31st of July, which is restricted thus far only to two-wheelers and three-wheelers. So that is my expectation from budget.
By which time perhaps we'll also have a fresh new budget or a full year budget for this year.
So I suspect the announcement would be made in that budget speech in the month of July itself.
All right, so that announcement could come in the budget speech. But for now, let's quickly dip into RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das. He's speaking at the 90th year celebration of the Reserve Bank of India.
From the Reserve Bank, both past and present. Today, the Reserve Bank of India enters the 90th year from its establishment on April 1, 1935. The journey of the Reserve Bank over the last 9 decades has been one of efficient functioning and contribution to the nation's progress. On this momentous occasion, it's my proud privilege on behalf of the Reserve Bank of India to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister to this commemorative event. Sir, your presence here amidst your very busy schedule is a source of great inspiration to all of us in the Reserve Bank. I also welcome the other dignitaries, the Governor Maharashtra, the Chief Minister Maharashtra, the Honorable Finance Minister, and other dignitaries on the dais to this event. Further, I welcome all distinguished dignitaries who are present here, all our invitees, and each one of you who has made it convenient to be here. The Reserve Bank's evolution as an institution has been closely intertwined with the development of the Indian economy. From being a central bank primarily concerned with allocation of scarce resources during the planning period, the Reserve Bank has transitioned into being an enabler for the market economy. We are a full-service central bank with our functions spanning multiple dimensions. It has been our endeavor to promote the financial sector, promote a financial sector that is robust, resilient, and future-ready. The path-breaking structural reforms, such as the enactment of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code and the adoption of flexible inflation targeting in the recent years, have helped us to deal with the challenges in the banking system and the task of maintaining price stability more effectively. Given the rapid changes taking place in today's world, especially in the areas of technology, innovation, business practices, and growing complexities in the financial sector, the Reserve Bank is constantly evaluating the emerging trends and taking necessary policy measures to remain in sync with the changing times. Our effort is to anticipate situations and take proactive measures.
And that, of course, is RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das at the 90th year anniversary of Reserve Bank of India. He is expected to speak there. Also with him is Prime Minister. We'll also listen in to when the Prime Minister starts speaking. But remember, RBI has announced its schedule for Monetary Policy Committee or the MPC meetings for the coming financial year, the ongoing financial year 2025, which begins today. Now, after April meet, subsequent meetings are set for June, August, October, December, as well as February of 2025. The latest MPC meeting will start on 3rd of April, will continue till 5th of April. What are the key expectations? Remember, RBI has maintained its repo rate at 6.5% since February of 2023. Now, analysts as well as economists anticipate that the central bank will maintain its current approach, aiming to align India's inflation with its target following a recent dovish stance of the US Federal Reserve. The Feds also foresee 3 rate reductions in 2024, contingent on the US inflation nearing a 2% objective. As far as India is concerned, the expectation is that the RBI will be keeping its repo rate steady at 6.5% during its upcoming meeting. Whether that will happen or not will depend on how inflation pans out. The numbers so far are looking good, come to think of it.
I mean, I think the growth numbers are definitely good, and what the governor was just mentioning about, this financial stability which the RBI has been instrumental in ensuring for the country is absolutely right, because we've seen the kind of meltdown in the US. We've seen how bank after bank saw these bank runs and banks being unable to honor those bank runs. We've seen the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and a multitude of other banks in the US. We haven't really seen any trickle effect of any of those actions here in India. So we have a fairly robust banking reform already institutionalized, in the last 10 years or so. And this is a journey. Governor also mentioned IBC. So, this is the kind of confidence which businesses investing in India are seeing right now. Now, coming specifically to India's track record, I think India's growth track record has been stupendous. We have seen 8.4% growth coming in Q3. And that, of course, is beating all expectations of any economist anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
Now,
and the person also taking credit for that is Nirmala Sitharaman. She's also speaking at the moment. Let's quickly listen into what Finance Minister...
Deputy Chief Ministers of Maharashtra, Governor Reserve Bank, all invited dignitaries, media. I'm here on a very happy occasion when today we mark the 90th anniversary of Reserve Bank of India. RBI, the Central Bank of India, has actually had a remarkable checkered history. It stands tall among its peers on several counts. Once in a century pandemic, the COVID, hit us. The RBI adopted and in fact deployed conventional and unconventional range of instruments to provide liquidity and to promote growth and to ensure financial stability. The two examples that I can cite and which can stand before as a classic example are the moratorium on loan repayments and also the liquidity infusion which happened during that time. Later came the Russia-Ukraine war. RBI's measures primarily aimed at two things. One, to address the inflation and the forex market's volatility. RBI, in fact, has been one of the earliest to recognize the which we have this opportune moment to recall the work done by the RBI. Building up reserves, including foreign exchange interventions. In the past few years, India's capacity to manage and also to take care of external imbalances and uncertainties have significantly improved purely because of the professional management of the RBI. Rupee has exhibited lower volatility and orderly movements is what we notice of the rupee, and they are in relative terms to the rest of its peers. Managing India's banks is something which I'll recall at this time. A decade ago, balance sheet problem, today is a balance sheet advantage, and that advantage accrues to our economy. Collaborative effort of the Government of India and RBI, the asset quality management, prompt corrective action framework are all great functions well carried out by our true regulator of the banks, Reserve Bank of India. Fiscal and monetary policy coordination. As always, the Government of India is one of the governments, like very many others, and RBI manages its debt, which is very important for government. Inflation management, despite monetary tightening pressures and the measures which have been taken for monetary tightening, has stabilized the G-Sec yields, which is very important for the economy. The stability in G-Sec markets has contributed to overall financial market resilience and investor confidence in the Indian economy. Lastly, the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, has mentioned significant role played by RBI in a very unconventional point. RBI's role in anchoring inflation expectations using communication policy is significant, is what the BIS has said. And I'm sure not one in this audience would disagree with that. Apart from forward guidance, it was used for explaining the rationale. The policy of communication management has been used for explaining the rationale for the measures taken by the RBI. Thus, in the economy, confidence was built, and then optimism, if I can say so, optimism has been held up even during pandemic, held high and never let down. So optimism building is a very beautiful function which the RBI during crisis time has handled because it adopted this unconventional instrument of communication with the people. And final word, institutional integrity is something which I would credit the RBI, and among very many central banks, India's RBI, for its institutional credibility, needs a big applause in the 90th anniversary. Thank you very much.
Well, it's RBI's 90th anniversary. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman there addressing that gathering, mega audience, and of course talking about all things done right by RBI. She talked about how inflation has been managed. Currency management is a credit that she's giving to the RBI. Also, the balance sheet problem, comparing it to 10 years ago, which often this government has taken credit for. But let's talk about inflation for a bit, because inflation trajectory is also under control, or seeming to be under control, except for, of course, headline inflation remains a bit sticky at the moment.
Headline
what are your
inflation
expectations?
has been sticky and coming in at about 5% and thereabouts. It means that the RBI's job is still not done. RBI's target is 4%. RBI will have to keep rates high, and most economists expect that RBI will keep rates static at about 6.5%, not just in this MPC, but all the way till July. And it's only July or after July that we may, depending on inflation, see some sort of a cut in rates. But I think what market watchers and economy watchers are specifically keen on hearing from RBI Governor Shaktikanta on the 5th of April is going to be what is going to be the stance of the MPC. Are we going to stick to withdrawal of accommodation, or is the stance going to move to a neutral one? And if it moves to neutral, that is obviously a good signal, good message for investors that there is going to be some seriousness when it comes to looking at a rate cut subsequently. And that change of stance is going to impact markets, impact the mood of the economy per se, and hopefully some sort of new wings being given to the credit offtake cycle, which has been low, especially for corporate India.
Yeah, one thing that I'll also be keenly eyeing would be RBI's stance on growth projections for financial year 25, because come to think of it, the Q3 numbers have been surprising a lot of people, including the government, beating its own estimates.
Absolutely. So I think the government has stuck to a certain growth trajectory. RBI had been a little conservative in venturing out, anything beyond 7% as the growth rate. But I think what we've seen is that we are definitely looking at closing this financial year, the financial year that ended yesterday, at about 8% or so. So if we end at 8%, and if you're looking at any growth sustained over that 8% growth, we are definitely looking at a good growth figure when compared to the rest of the world. We are definitely looking at FY25 coming in above 7%, even though the projections right now are around 6.5% to 7.5%, depending on whether you are a foreign institutional player or whether you are, a multilateral bank who's giving those projections, or whether you're the government of India. But I think anything above 7% is good. But given the track record for FY24 likely to come in at over 8%, then even FY25 should look at something comfortably above 7%. And 7% is going to be only the nominal growth. Add a reduced inflation, let's say even by July, coming in for the year at about 4% or so, you're looking at give or take about 11%, which is double-digit growth.
All right, nominal inflation, nominal growth for that matter, likely to be in the range of about 7% and above. Real GDP growth also expected to be extremely high for financial year 25. A lot of, come to think of it, a lot of global ratings agencies have also revised India's growth targets for financial year 25. I think it'll also be important to understand how the momentum is sustained, because it's going to be higher GDP growth rate for financial year 24, and to sustain even a higher rate at an upper base would be a difficult, I think, objective to meet for now. But remember, all RBI, governor, top officials of RBI, the ruling government, finance minister, prime minister are currently in Mumbai. It's the 90th anniversary of Reserve Bank of India. We're going to leave you with those visuals. But with that, we've come to the end of this show. Thank you very much for watching.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, the US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9+. Download now.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me. When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure. When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless. Mind and body are entangled sensations. That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
This and more, streaming on News 9+. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
You name a place and there is a marathon. Running in the snow is a
मुख्यमंत्री श्रीमान एकनाथ शिंदे जी, मंत्रिमंडल के मेरे सहयोगी निर्मला सीतारामन जी, भागवत कराड़ जी, पंकज चौधरी जी, महाराष्ट्र सरकार के उप मुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्र जी अजीत जी, रिजर्व बैंक के गवर्नर शक्तिकांत दास जी, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के अधिकारी, अन्य महानुभाव, देवी और सज्जनों, आज भारत का रिजर्व बैंक एक ऐतिहासिक पड़ाव पर पहुंचा है। आरबीआई ने अपने 90 इयर्स पूरे किए हैं। एक संस्थान के रूप में आरबीआई आजादी के पहले और आजादी के बाद दोनों ही कालखंड का गवाह है। आज पूरी दुनिया में आरबीआई की पहचान उसके प्रोफेशनलिज्म और कमिटमेंट की वजह से बनी है। मैं आप सभी को, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के सभी कर्मचारियों और अधिकारियों को आरबीआई की स्थापना के 90 इयर्स की बधाई देता हूं। और इस समय जो लोग आरबीआई से जुड़े हैं उन्हें मैं बहुत सौभाग्यशाली मानता हूं। आज आप जो नीतियां बनाएंगे, जो काम करेंगे, उनसे आरबीआई के अगले दशक की दिशा तय होगी। ये दशक इस संस्थान को उसके शताब्दी वर्ष तक ले जाने वाला दशक है और ये दशक विकसित भारत की संकल्प यात्रा के लिए भी उतना ही अहम है। और इसके लिए जैसा आप लोगों का मंत्र है, आरबीआई को तेज ग्रोथ को सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता देते हुए ट्रस्ट और स्टेबिलिटी पर भी उतना ही फोकस करना है। मैं आरबीआई को उसके लक्ष्यों और संकल्पों के लिए भी शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। साथियों, आप सभी अपनी फील्ड के एक्सपर्ट्स हैं। आप जानते हैं कि देश की अर्थव्यवस्था, हमारी जीडीपी काफी हद तक मॉनेटरी और फिस्कल पॉलिसीज के कोऑर्डिनेशन पर निर्भर करती है। मुझे याद है जब 2014 में रिजर्व बैंक के 80वें वर्ष के कार्यक्रम में आया था, तब हालात एकदम अलग थे। भारत का पूरा बैंकिंग सेक्टर समस्याओं और चुनौतियों से जूझ रहा था। एनपीए को लेकर, भारत के बैंकिंग सिस्टम की स्टेबिलिटी और उसके भविष्य को लेकर हर कोई आशंका से भरा हुआ था। हालात इतनी खराब थी कि पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स देश की आर्थिक प्रगति को जरूरी गति नहीं दे पा रहे थे। हम सभी ने वहां से शुरुआत की और आज देखिए, आज भारत के बैंकिंग सिस्टम को दुनिया में एक स्ट्रांग और सस्टेनेबल सिस्टम माना जा रहा है। जो बैंकिंग सिस्टम कभी डूबने की कगार पर था, वो बैंकिंग सिस्टम अब प्रॉफिट में आ गया है और क्रेडिट में रिकॉर्ड वृद्धि दिखा रहा है। फ्रेंड्स, आप भी जानते हैं कि सिर्फ 10 साल में इतना बड़ा परिवर्तन आना आसान नहीं था। ये बदलाव इसलिए आया क्योंकि हमारी नीति, नियत और निर्णयों में स्पष्टता थी। ये बदलाव इसलिए आया क्योंकि हमारे प्रयासों में दृढ़ता थी, ईमानदारी थी। आज देश देख रहा है, जब नीयत सही होती है तो नीति सही होती है, जब नीति सही होती है तो निर्णय सही होते हैं, और जब निर्णय सही होते हैं तो नतीजे सही मिलते हैं। इन शॉर्ट, मैं यही कहना चाहता हूं, नियत सही तो नतीजे सही। कैसे देश का बैंकिंग सिस्टम ट्रांसफॉर्म हुआ, ये अपने आप में एक स्टडी का विषय है। हमने कोई भी सिरा ऐसा नहीं था जिसे ऐसे ही छोड़ दिया हो। हमारी सरकार ने रिकॉग्निशन, रिजोल्यूशन और रिकैपिटलाइजेशन की रणनीति पर काम किया। पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक के हालात सुधारने के लिए सरकार ने करीब 3.5 लाख करोड़ का कैपिटल इन्फ्यूजन किया और साथ ही गवर्नेंस संबंधी कई रिफॉर्म्स भी किए। अकेले इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड की नई व्यवस्था से ही करीब 3.25 लाख करोड़ के लोन्स रिजॉल्व हुए। और एक आंकड़ा देशवासियों को जरूर जानना जरूरी है। 27,000 से ज्यादा ऐसी एप्लीकेशंस जिसमें 9 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा का अंडरलाइंग डिफॉल्ट था, वो आईबीसी में एडमिशन से पहले ही रिजॉल्व हो गई। ये दिखाता है कि इस नई व्यवस्था का सामर्थ्य कितना ज्यादा है। बैंकों का जो ग्रॉस एनपीए 2018 में 11.25% के आसपास था, वो सितंबर 2023 आते आते 3% से भी कम हो गया। आज ट्विन बैलेंस शीट की समस्या अतीत का हिस्सा हो चुकी है। आज बैंक की क्रेडिट ग्रोथ 15% तक हो गई है और मैं इन सभी उपलब्धियों में आरबीआई की सहभागीदारी और प्रयासों की भी बहुत बड़ी भूमिका रही है और वो बधाई के पात्र हैं। साथियों, आरबीआई जैसे संस्थान के बारे में चर्चा अक्सर फाइनेंशियल डेफिनेशन और कठिन टर्मिनोलॉजी तक ही सीमित रह जाती है। आपका कार्य जितना जटिल है उसमें यह स्वाभाविक भी है, लेकिन आप जो काम करते हैं उससे देश के सामान्य मानव का जीवन सीधे तौर पर प्रभावित होता है। बीते 10 वर्षों में हमने सेंट्रल बैंक, बैंकिंग सिस्टम और अंतिम पायदान पर खड़े व्यक्ति के बीच इस कनेक्ट को हाईलाइट किया है। गरीबों का फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन आज इसका बहुत बड़ा उदाहरण है। आज देश में 52 करोड़ जनधन खाते हैं। इनमें भी 55% से ज्यादा खाते महिलाओं के नाम पर है। इसी फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन का प्रभाव आप एग्रीकल्चर और फिशरीज जैसे सेक्टर्स में भी देख सकते हैं। आज 7 करोड़ से ज्यादा फार्मर्स, फिशरमैन और पशुपालक के पास किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड्स हैं। इससे हमारी रूरल इकोनॉमी को एक बहुत बड़ा पुश मिला है। कोऑपरेटिव सेक्टर को भी पिछले 10 वर्षों में बड़ा बूस्ट मिला है। सहकारिता में कोऑपरेटिव बैंक की एक
Let's now quickly, in fact, take you to Rouse Avenue Court, where Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, has just arrived. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's ED custody has ended today. He has arrived at the Rouse Avenue Court for further proceedings in connection with the Delhi liquor excise policy case. The ED is expected to seek an extension of Kejriwal's custody. There now, Kejriwal was arrested by the ED on the 21st of March in an alleged money laundering case linked to the now scrapped Delhi liquor policy. He's been produced in the Delhi Rouse Avenue Court, and their ED has sought judicial custody of Arvind Kejriwal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the latest that we're bringing for all our viewers. ED has in fact sought the judicial custody of Arvind Kejriwal. His ED custody has ended today. He was arrested by the ED on the 21st of March in an alleged money laundering linked to the now scrapped Delhi liquor policy. There, in fact, do remember, viewers, that the opposition parties have been accusing the ED of working at the behest of the BJP, and they have been saying, in fact, BJP is indulging in vendetta politics. And now, the Delhi Chief Minister there, Arvind Kejriwal, saying, in fact, in the court that whatever the Prime Minister is doing is not good for the country. There are serious allegations being levelled by the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Kejriwal's arrest had also triggered protests in the national capital and Punjab, both governed by the Aam Aadmi Party.
अरविंद जी, पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन कल आपके लिए जुटा रामले मैदान, क्या कहेंगे? मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है। अरविंद जी, पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन कल आपके लिए जुटा रामले मैदान, क्या कहेंगे? मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है। अरविंद जी, पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन कल आपके लिए जुटा रामले मैदान, क्या कहेंगे? मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है। अरविंद जी, पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन कल आपके लिए जुटा रामले मैदान, क्या कहेंगे? मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है।
There you heard the Delhi Chief Minister saying Modi ji jo desh ke liye kar rahe hain wo acha nahi hai. What the Prime Minister is doing is not good for the country. Do remember, viewers, the Delhi Chief Minister had earlier submitted before the court bench stating that in the 31,000-page document prepared by the ED, there's no concrete evidence or allegations against him on the basis of which he has been arrested. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's ED custody has ended today, and the Enforcement Directorate has sought his judicial custody. Kejriwal was produced in Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court, and after his initial custody ended on the 28th of March, a local court in fact extended it for 4 more days till today.
अरविंद जी, पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन कल आपके लिए जुटा रामले मैदान, क्या कहेंगे?
मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है।
अरविंद जी, पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन कल आपके लिए जुटा रामले मैदान, क्या कहेंगे?
मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है।
अरविंद जी, पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन कल आपके लिए जुटा रामले मैदान, क्या कहेंगे?
मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है।
अरविंद जी, पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन कल आपके लिए जुटा रामले मैदान, क्या कहेंगे?
मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है।
That was Arvind Kejriwal there speaking to the media. ED has in fact sought 15-day judicial custody of Arvind Kejriwal. Now, this is after his initial custody ended on the 28th of March. A local court there extended it for 4 more days till the 1st of April, and now the ED has sought 15 more days. Kejriwal was produced in the Rouse Avenue Court, and there, while speaking to the media, he said that whatever Prime Minister is doing is not good for the country. ED has sought 15-day judicial custody of Arvind Kejriwal, who was arrested on the 21st of March in an alleged money laundering case linked to the now scrapped Delhi liquor policy. ED has alleged that Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, did not cooperate with the investigation. Do remember, viewers, Kejriwal has also moved the Delhi High Court against his arrest, arguing that the probe agency violated his fundamental rights. The court has in fact issued a notice to the ED seeking a reply by tomorrow. A very strong statement they're coming in by the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, who says that what Prime Minister is doing is not good for the country. He made this statement while he was taken to the Rouse Avenue court. Kejriwal has been speaking with the media, even if that means it is for a fraction of seconds. He's been making it a point to put forth his argument in the court and even before the media. Kejriwal has been alleging that his arrest is a political conspiracy, while his party has been organizing massive protests in various parts of the country, especially in the national capital and in Punjab. Both these states are in fact governed by the Aam Aadmi Party. Yesterday, the opposition had called for a Maha rally in Delhi's Ram Leela Maidan, and those top opposition leaders who attended the rally pressed for the release of Arvind Kejriwal and former Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren, who was also arrested by the ED in January in a different case. While entering the courtroom, the Delhi Chief Minister there told the media what the Prime Minister is doing is not good for the country. The Enforcement Directorate sleuths have also, in fact, asked Apple to help access Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's phone. He has been sent to judicial custody. This is the big news we are currently tracking for all our viewers. For those who have just joined in, Arvind Kejriwal has been sent to judicial custody till the 15th of April. A big setback for Arvind Kejriwal there. The ED had in fact sought his judicial custody, and now the ED there, in fact Kejriwal, has been sent to judicial custody till the 15th of April. No breather for the Delhi Chief Minister. He was arrested by the ED on the 21st of March in connection with an alleged money laundering case linked to the now scrapped Delhi liquor policy. He has also moved the Delhi High Court against his arrest, arguing that his fundamental rights were violated by the Enforcement Directorate. Kejriwal has also dubbed his arrest a political conspiracy, and there, while entering the courtroom, Kejriwal told reporters what Prime Minister Narendra Modi is doing is not good for the country. Now, this is in fact an allegation that has been leveled by the entire opposition, almost entire opposition, which claims that the BJP is indulging in vendetta politics. Arvind Kejriwal has also dubbed his arrest a political conspiracy, while his party has also organized massive protests. The opposition has questioned Kejriwal's arrest just ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. And there Arvind Kejriwal saying what the Prime Minister is doing is not good for the country. And for those who have just joined in, it's a big setback for Arvind Kejriwal. In fact, Arvind Kejriwal has been sent to judicial custody till the 15th of April. Meanwhile, K. Kavita's bail plea is scheduled to be heard today in liquor policy case. BRS leader and daughter of former Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, K. Kavita has been sent to judicial custody till the 9th of April by a Delhi court. Kavita was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate on the 15th of March in connection with the alleged liquor policy scam that has embroiled the city's ruling Aam Aadmi Party. Had been in the agency's custody. Last week, in fact, K. Kavita's custody was extended to allow for confrontation with data extracted from her mobile phone. On that note, it's a wrap on this edition of the Bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. Up next is a lot more. Don't go anywhere.
Luxury is now becoming a need rather than something that you aspire to be. So that is adding a lot of fuel. Obviously, government has played a vital role in it.
In a city like Mumbai, a luxury home may be something upwards of rupees 10 crores. In city like Delhi, again maybe something upwards of 8-9 crores. But in Bangalore, we typically define a luxury home anything which is upwards of about 3 crores.
It's a combination of increased wealth, availability of more luxurious homes, and simultaneously the overall economy doing better.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Back, but persisting with the idea, having the conviction in the idea that you want to be in.
I wanted to become a pilot because I thought flying would give me wings. I said, no, I'm going to build this app that's going to change the way the world flies. People were spending thousands and thousands of dollars on booking aircrafts, private jets, but not getting the plane they wanted at the time they wanted, at the cost they wanted. All they want is the right plane at the right price at the right time with the right services. I told my dad that I'm going to make a company that's going to let people book private jets on their phone. He said, they'll call on the phone and you'll answer and they'll book. Overnight, from being an app where people could come and book and charter planes and list planes, we became an operator without owning any of our own assets. The one thing I've learned is 100% of the investors look at is how strong is the founder. If you have to build a great business, get the right investors, build the right team, you have to be very, very honest and integral. The smartest entrepreneurs realize when they're making mistakes, own up to these mistakes, stand up, face them and correct. The art of winning is nothing but being able to convert your dreams into reality.
A lot of times in my life it has happened that you're in a room full of executives, you're in a room full of leaders, but there may be, 1, 2, maybe 5 women in the room full of 100 men. I've now spent about 15 years in working on what I call women's internet, building technologies that support more and more women across the world. The best businesses are the ones where your customers win. So we built a customer-centric company, and today we work with some of the largest brands and partners. As a woman founder, I would say take small steps. It doesn't matter where you are. And I can tell you, once you're on that path, it works out. I think it's important to fight for your individuality. It's important to fight for your voice. Focus on building a good company. Your customers will always save you even when your investors cannot. I think I was born to do what I do.
A little puppy named Sarah came into my life, and that's really when the idea for Heads Up for Tails was born. When I started out, pet care was not really an industry. Actually, that's what forced us to build our own network of stores. When you're at this stage of being an entrepreneur just starting out, I think one of the greatest advantages is the ability for us to fail fast. When I'm looking at bringing in more people, I look at two things primarily, which is high EQ and low ego. You need a low ego to be able to take feedback, to know that you don't know it all. My journey personally has been about a lot of persistence. It's been about building a brand and a category from scratch in the country. And it has taken many, many years of a lot of patience, of persisting, of trying, of failing, of stumbling, but repeatedly getting back up on my feet and trying one more time and showing up one more day.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me. When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure. When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless. Mind and body are entangled sensations. That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
You were the chosen one to direct Mr. Bachchan for his first endorsement, for his first appearance on the small screen.
It was a life-changing moment.
Have you been a rebel with a cause?
There was a sense of responsibility, there was a sense of frustration.
Are you worried about cancel culture?
You tell a story with a fierce psychosis, you're gonna spoil it anyway.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Hello and welcome to News 9 Live. Our top story at this hour. In a shocking incident in Bengaluru, a group of 3 men bound on a motorcycle followed and harassed 2 women who were travelling in their car at the time. The distressed women had to call the police for help. The perpetrators followed the women from Madiwala, St. John's to Koramangala. Upon the arrival of the police, the accused fled on a 2-wheeler. The police are currently, of course, searching for the perpetrators. A complaint has been lodged at Koramangala police station and the investigation is going on.
Following us, they are punching the vehicle. Are you listening? My name is Priyam Singh. My name is Priyam Singh. Priyam. Yes. Yes. I'm crossing. Just be slow. Nearby landmark is Nandana Palace. I'm crossing. St. John's Auditorium. Gate number 5. St. John's Auditorium. I have crossed. The vehicle number is KA04 KL2583. KL2583. They are blocking our route. They are in the front of our vehicle. They are KA04 KL2583. They are punching. They are following us. Please, they are again following. Nature's basket. I'm crossing. I'm on this road now. I'm on this other road. Please, I'm on ABK restaurant. He's abusing. He's opening the door. He's touching the door.
What a horrific experience indeed. The panic in her voice was more than apparent. This is Bengaluru. Ladies and gents, this is the IT capital of India. Mohammad Wajiullah, my colleague, joins us live on this horrific story coming in from Bengaluru. Vaji, this is an area, Koramangala, where one would say very educated, and it's a Tony neighborhood in Bengaluru. What is this? What really happened? And what time of the hour? Because one can see it's dark, but is it midnight? Is it late in the night? Or is it early evening? No police seems to be on the streets. What went on, Vaji?
Yes, Sudha, this incident is about 9 o'clock in the last night, and from the details what we've got from this particular girl, she recorded this video while she was traveling from Madiwala to Koramangala. It's a 3 or 4 kilometer distance from one place to another. 3 kilometer distance from Madiwala to 2 kilometer distance. I'm sorry for that. From Madiwala to Koramangala, and she was traveling with her friend in the car. That is when these 3 people in the bike confronted her. She works in a private company in Madiwala, and she's going back home at around 9 o'clock is what she has said. And when these people started following her, she immediately called 112 and the police officer, the control room number, where the control room officer was continuously in touch with her while she had informed the Hoysala and had directed the Hoysala to that place. And what we also got to know is that Hoysala managed to reach the particular lady in 7 to 8 minutes while she made this call. Now, what actually happened there is something completely different from what we see in the video. Is the girl was completely harassed by these 3 people who were driving next to her. They tried to open her door. They created a sense of panic. Now the police have taken into custody 2 people. One is Jagannath and Tejas, who were in this bike, who were riding the bike, and they've questioned them with regards to this incident. And during the questioning, these 2 have clearly gone on to say that they were trying to stop the vehicle because from the time she's been traveling from Madiwala to Koramangala, she's put the indicator in her vehicle, and every time there is a left indicator, she's taking a right turn, and when there's a right indicator, she was taking a left turn. Because of this confusion and commotion, they tried to confront the girl. Now, this could be a mistake from the girl's side, but this is not the way somebody has to confront, and somebody has to create a scene, which clearly shows the way they have done it. Also, the 3 people who are riding the bike They claim that this was because of the indicator that they were trying to stop her. They do not have the right to firstly open the door. Secondly, they were also riding without their helmet, and 3 people in a bike. So all these things the police have taken into consideration. They are still questioning the 2 people. We'll have to wait and watch what kind of charges that will be levied against the 3 people. From the questioning, what we've got to know, preliminary investigation, this is the version of the guy and this is the version of the girl. A clear-cut version of the police is now waited, Sudha.
You know, a lot of instances where one is riding in a car, one sari is sticking out, people tell you, but not in this fashion. This is not the way to intimidate somebody by following that person, coming close to the door and touching the door. Also, Vaji, I beg your pardon, you spoke about Hoysala, 1-to-1. For the benefit of all the women in Bengaluru, just let us know, what does this mean? Is it a special kind of a number you can call if you're being harassed on the road? What exactly does it mean, Vaji?
Well, Sudha, before we used to have control room numbers separately for the police, separately for the Hoysala over there, which is the moving mobile police patrolling team, and a separate number for ambulance. Now the Karnataka government has clubbed all these 3 into one, which is 112. So the minute you call 112, whatever your request is, be it an ambulance, emergency ambulance, that is provided to you as fast as possible. The Hoysala, which is nearby, is ticked about the incident that is happening nearby from where you've called. And all the address and number of the person who's calling also gets tracked because of the technology that we have right now. So in this particular case also, Sudha, by the time she called, it is said that within the 10 minutes, the nearest Hoysala managed to reach her. And after the Hoysala had reached there is when the 3 saw the police vehicle and they fled from that spot. The police tried to stop them, but they already had the registration number of the vehicle through the video from which she was recording live while she was talking to the control room person also, and through this they immediately were able to find out who these people were, who the vehicle owner was, and that's how they got a nab of the 2 suspects, which is Jagannath and Tejas, Sudha.
You know, thank you so much, Vajula, but I wonder where the traffic policemen were on the road, considering that there was so much of panic when this woman was actually speaking to 1-to-1 and relating her ordeal. Let's listen in to what she had to go through.
Following us, they are punching the vehicle. Are you listening? My name is Priyam Singh. My name is Priyam Singh. Priyam. Yes. Yes. I'm crossing. Just nearby landmark is Nandana Palace. I'm crossing St. John's Auditorium, gate number 5, St. John's Auditorium. I have crossed. The vehicle number is KA04 KL2583. KL2583. They are blocking our route. They are in the front of our vehicle. They are KA04 KL2583. They are punching. They are following us. Please, they are again following. Nature's basket. I'm crossing. I'm on this road now. I'm on this other road. Please, I'm on ABK restaurant. He's abusing. He's opening the door. He's touching the door.
Press 1 for police help. Sanchara Sevage. This call may be recorded for quality services purposes.
What is the number of the vehicle you took?
KA04. Please, I just filed a complaint. These guys are following us. They are punching my vehicle. There are 3 guys on a vehicle, on a 2-wheeler. I have them on. Sorry? No, I don't know. I really don't know. Kormangla. I just called 2 minutes back. I have just stopped my vehicle at Nagarjuna. Yes, already.
I hope this case gets resolved sooner rather than later for the safety of all the women who work in Bengaluru. In some other news coming in, the Income Tax Department has told the Supreme Court that it will not take any coercive steps to recover rupees 1700 crores from the Congress party in view of the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. The IT department added that it does not want to create any kind of problems for any party during elections and has urged the court to post the matter for hearing in June. This is the breaking. The IT department says don't want to create problems for any party during polls. Very, very important piece of news coming in. The IT department has said that in view of the upcoming Lok Sabha elections, it does not want to create for any party any problems during election and has urged the court to post the matter for hearing in June, obviously, which means after the results of the Lok Sabha elections are out. Very important piece of information there on your screens right now. No coercive action against the Congress by the IT department until June 2024. And on Kachativu, in the latest, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar addressed a press conference on Kachativu. During the conference, the EAM emphasized that the issue was not sudden. He raised concerns about the silence of the Congress party and also the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam or DMK, the ruling dispensation in Tamil Nadu. Regarding Kachativu, Jaishankar referred to the island as a boon for fishermen and criticized both the parties, that is the Congress and the DMK, for disregarding historical evidence. The latest on the Kachativu Island row is here. According to Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister, who addressed a press conference, he said that the issue was not sudden at all and he raised concerns about the silence of the Congress party and the DMK, the ruling dispensation in Tamil Nadu led by Muka Stalin. Regarding Kachativu, Jaishankar referred to the island as a boon for fishermen and criticized both Congress and DMK for having disregarded historical evidence. Dr. S. Jaishankar hits out on the Kachativu issue and blames both the Congress as well as the DMK for having disregarded the ceding of the island.
We know who did this, how has the situation arisen. What we do not know is who hid this, who has been party to it, what has been concealed from the public, and we believe it is the right of the public today to know how did this situation come about. In the last 20 years, 6,184 Indian fishermen have been detained by Sri Lanka. 6,184. And in the same period, 1,175 fishing vessels, Indian fishing vessels, have been seized, detained, apprehended by the Sri Lankans. So this is really today the background. This is the issue that we are discussing. Now you can ask, why are we discussing it? And the answer is, in the last 5 years, in the Parliament, in the Consultative Committee, we have repeatedly, this issue, Kachativu issue and the fishermen's issue, has been repeatedly raised by various parties, by all parties, I would say. As I mentioned, in Parliament it has come up as Parliament question, it has come up in debates, it has been raised in the Consultative Committee, and in fact, Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has written to me numerous times And my record shows that to the current Chief Minister, I have myself replied 21 times on this issue. So please understand, this is not an issue which has suddenly surfaced. This is a live issue. It is an issue which has been very much debated in Parliament, in Tamil Nadu circles as well. It has been the subject of correspondence between the union government and the state government. And as I said, 21 times I have myself replied to letters. Now, every political party in Tamil Nadu has taken a position on this. And here, one of the reasons why we are debating it is in looking at these two issues, the Kachativu issue and the fishermen issue, two parties, the Congress and the DMK, have approached this matter as though they have no responsibility for it, as though the situation is for central government, today's central government, for them to resolve. There is no history to this. This has just happened. They are the people who are taking up the cause. That is the way they would like to project it.
The entire Kachativu Island row on your screens right now. Kachativu is an uninhabited offshore island in the Park Strait. Now, it's a 285-acre land jointly administered by India and Sri Lanka during the colonial period, that is the British Raj. In 1921, both nations claimed island for fishing rights, and the dispute remained unsettled so far. In 1974, India and Sri Lanka signed an agreement on the boundary in historic waters. India recognized Sri Lanka's ownership of the island under the agreement. This is 1974. The pact signed in Colombo on 26th of June 1974 and also in New Delhi on 28th of June 1974, almost a year ahead of the emergency declared by Mrs. Gandhi. Under this, Indian fishermen could attend annual St. Anthony's festival. Indian fishermen could visit the island for rest and for drying of nets as well. The decision to cede the island has been a cause of contention in Tamil Nadu, and according to Prime Minister Modi and also Dr. Jai Shankar, it was the Congress party which ceded the island to the Sri Lanka. Moving on now, the decision to hand over Kachativu to Sri Lanka by Indira Gandhi in 1974 has become a focal point in Tamil Nadu's Lok Sabha campaign elections. On 31st of March, Prime Minister shared a report which states that documents obtained through an RTI application by Tamil Nadu BJP chief K. Annamalai revealed that how Indira Gandhi ceded the island to Sri Lanka. Prime Minister Modi on his social media platform X targeted DMK and said how they did nothing to safeguard Tamil Nadu's interest. The tweet read, "Rhetoric aside, DMK has done nothing in all capitals to safeguard Tamil Nadu's interests. New details emerging on Kachativu have unmasked the DMK's double standards totally." This is Prime Minister Modi. Congress and DMK are family units. They only care that their own sons and daughters rise. They don't care for anyone else. Their callousness on Kachativu has harmed the interest of our poor fishermen and fisherwomen in particular. Additionally, Prime Minister Modi, during his reply to the no-confidence motion, targeted the Congress for giving away the Kachativu island to Sri Lanka and mentioned that the DMK has been asking him to get the island back, and Chief Minister Stalin had written letters to him on the issue.
काट दें तो बिल्कुल नॉर्थ ईस्ट अलग हो जाएगा। ये सपना देखने वालों का जो लोग समर्थन करते हैं, आदरणीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं जरा इनको जहां भी हो जरा मेरा सवाल अगल बगल में बैठे हुए को जवाब दे। ये जो बाहर गए ना, उनको जरा पूछें ये कच्छतीवु क्या है। कोई पूछे इनको कच्छतीवु क्या है। इतनी बड़ी बातें करते हैं ना, आज मैं बताना चाहता हूं ये कच्छतीवु क्या है और ये कच्छतीवु कहां आया, जरा उनको पूछ लीजिए। इतनी बड़ी बातें लिख करके देश को गुमराह करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। और ये डीएमके वाले, उनकी सरकार, उनके मुख्यमंत्री मुझे चिट्ठी लिखते हैं, अभी भी लिखते हैं और कहते हैं मोदी जी कच्छ तीवू वापस ले आइए। एक कच्छ तीवू है क्या? किसने किया? तमिलनाडु से आगे श्रीलंका के पहले एक टापू किसने किसी दूसरे देश को दे दिया था? कब दिया था? कहां गई थी? क्या ये भारत माता नहीं थी वहां? क्या वो मां भारती का अंग नहीं था? और इसको भी आपने तोड़ा। और कौन था उस समय? श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी के नेतृत्व में हुआ था। कांग्रेस का इतिहास मां भारती को छिन्न भिन्न करने का रहा है। आदरणीय अध्यक्ष जी, और कांग्रेस का मां भारती के प्रति प्रेम क्या रहा है? भारत के वासियों के प्रति प्रेम क्या रहा है?
Meanwhile, Chief Minister of Assam, Hemanta Biswa Sarma, took to his social media platform, listing how Congress tried to break India. He accused Congress of gifting Aksai Chin to China, Coco Island to Myanmar, Kachativu to Sri Lanka and Indus waters to Pakistan.
आज कंसीलमेंट, कंस्पिरेसी और कल्यूजन, इन 3 C's का जो खुलासा हुआ है कच्चा तीवू के संदर्भ में कि किस प्रकार से भारत के एक अभिन्न अंग, केवल एक जमीन का टुकड़ा नहीं, एक ऐसी भूमि जो भारत और तमिल का एक हिस्सा था और जिससे तमिलनाडु के मछुआरों की जीवनी और जिंदगी और सुरक्षा जुड़ी हुई थी, उसको कंसीलमेंट, कंस्पिरेसी और कल्यूजन से कांग्रेस और डीएमके के प्रथम परिवार ने सौंप दिया थाली में। और हमने देखा है कि 1974 में यह निर्णय लिया गया, परंतु 1960 से ही इसकी भूमिका बनाने के लिए नेहरू जी ने जिस प्रकार से कहा कि इस टुकड़ी की क्या अहमियत है, इसकी कोई अहमियत नहीं है इस जमीन की। उसके बाद जब एमसी सेतलवाद और लीगल ओपिनियन, हिस्टोरिकल ओपिनियन और जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी एमईए का ओपिनियन था कि यह जमीन हमारी है, उसको भी नजरअंदाज किया गया। और केवल कांग्रेस ही नहीं, कांग्रेस ने डीएमके की उस समय की सरकार करुणानिधि जी को पूरे कॉन्फिडेंस में लिया। बहुत पहले से उनके साथ चर्चा चलती रही और आज तथ्य ये दिखाते हैं कि करुणानिधि जी ने तो पूरा एक्सेप्टेंस दे दिया इस पर।
फॉर एनीबडी आउटसाइड द तमिलनाडु, यू विल आल्सो अंडरस्टैंड हाउ एन इंपॉर्टेंट पीस ऑफ भारत, एन इंपॉर्टेंट पीस ऑफ इंडिया, एंड मोर इंपॉर्टेंटली a historically important area of Tamil Nadu, in which fishermen for thousands of years had, without any interruption, had fishing rights, was mysteriously seeded away in 1974. Today, as you will read in papers or television channels, some of our Tamil brothers and sisters, fishermen brothers and sisters, getting arrested in the high sea, and the government of India under the able leadership of Honorable Prime Minister immediately getting them back, retrieving them back to our shore. This is a daily story. At the same time, some time back, we also seen how when 5 fishermen were sentenced for death penalty, how our Prime Minister have got them back to Tamil soil. We all know the story.
After External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar's conference and Prime Minister Modi's remarks on the Kachativu issue, Congress and DMK leaders addressed allegations of neglecting the interest of Tamil fishermen. For instance, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said the BJP has suddenly woken up to the issue of territorial integrity and national security. Kharge highlighted BJP's failure of fulfilling land arguments with Bangladesh and China. He also added that Pakistan bought weapons from Russia due to your foreign policy failure. Kharge said it has been only the Congress government that saved unity and integrity of the nation. What President of the Congress Party, Mallikarjun Kharge, said to the BJP on the Kachativu issue. Meanwhile, Congress leader Manikam Tagore defended the Gandhi Sirimavo Bandaranayake agreement, claiming it protected Tamil interest. He criticized Modi for not having fulfilled promises to reclaim Kachativu.
The problem with BJP, RSS and Mr. Modi is that when they are slapped in their faces in Tamil Nadu, when people are rejecting them again, they want a diversionary tactics. Their discrimination towards Tamil Nadu is well known. AIMS Madurai is not even started. All the projects in Tamil Nadu has not even started. Only foundation stone, only one brick is there in everywhere. This kind of discrimination against Tamil Nadu, they want a diversionary tactics. For that, they are raising this issue, which is in 1974. Government of India, headed by Mrs. Indira Gandhi ji, has signed an agreement called Indira Gandhi Sirimabo Bandaranayaka Agreement. In that time, to save 6 lakh Tamils. Mind it, Mr. Modi, 6 lakh Tamils. Their welfare to those Tamils from the garden areas of Sri Lanka they were settled in Tamil Nadu because they are natives of Tamil Nadu. They are natives of old Ramnad district. To save them, in return, this 6 Kachativu Islanders given by the government of India and to the Sri Lankan government. It is to save the Tamils it was made. But for the past 10 years, what this 56-inch chest was doing, if he is really that much eager about Tamil and Tamil Nadu, whether he will take back the Kachativu?
Meanwhile, DMK Chief and Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, slammed the BJP and called Prime Minister Modi and Dr. Jaishankar's remarks on Kachativu issue a sudden fisherman's love drama for the election. Stalin further called BJP's 10-year tenure a Kumbhakarna slumber. He took to social media platform X and raised questions why special scheme brought to Tamil Nadu under the regime. On your screens right now, what Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin said on the Kachativu Rao. 10 years of BJP, is there any special scheme brought to Tamil Nadu under the regime? Questioned Stalin about the Prime Minister. Prime Minister answered all this without indulging in diversion, says Muka Stalin, addressing his statements to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, meanwhile, DMK spokesperson Saravanan Annadurai also reacted to the Kachativu Rao.
Of the BJP government. What is the responsibility of the now External Affairs Minister who is going on giving press briefings without lifting his little finger about retrieval of Kachativu? What Mr. Jaishankar has spoken in the press meet is pure hogwash. If there was a press meet, it should have been a press conference where everybody should have been asked to question him. Then they would have asked him about Chinese incursion. They would have asked him what he said about China. It is a bigger economy. How can we fight them? The press people would have asked him about that. And the press people would have also questioned him about the exchange of enclaves with Bangladesh, which was opposed by the state of Assam and the state of West Bengal. This is similar. Will the External Affairs Minister care to speak about all these things? He won't. He says he's from the state of Tamil Nadu. What has he done? That Congress has ceded Kachativu in 1974 in a historical fact. And if the BJP thinks that it can derive electoral dividend by raking up that issue, by giving some documents that this secretary opined, this gentleman opined, for all that we know, how can we understand the authenticity of those documents? There is absolutely nothing. The question is this: you say it is the Congress. Yes, the Congress did it. It was an historical wrong. People voted them out of power in 2014. In the last 10 years, you were here in power.
कि इंदिरा भंडारा नायका दोनों राष्ट्राध्यक्षों का पैक्ट हुआ था, उस पैक्ट के तहत 6 लाख तमिलों को नागरिकता दिलाई गई थी। वो नहीं बोलेंगे, सच्चाई छिपाएंगे, इतिहास छिपाएंगे। अरे बात उनकी कर रहे हो जो इस दुनिया में नहीं है, जरा अपना जवाब दो। क्या लद्दाख में, डोकलाम में आपके एमपी ने ये नहीं कहा है, आपका एमपी, स्थानीय एमपी, उसने ये नहीं कहा है कि सैकड़ों वर्ग किलोमीटर जमीन ले लिया है, आज आप गश्त नहीं कर पा रहे हो, आपकी सेनाएं नहीं जा रही, लगातार वार्ता पे वार्ता, 20 से ज्यादा सैनिक वार्ताएं हो चुकी हैं और 21 जवानों की शहादत के बाद आप सफाई दे रहे हो, क्लीन चिट दे रहे हो और आपका एमपी कह रहा है कि ये गलत है। आपने जवानों की लाशों का बदला लेने की जगह सर झुका के आप नाम लेने से डरते हो चीन का, उससे व्यापार बढ़ा रहे हो।
And it's time now for a break, but news will continue. See you on the other side.
"40 countries, 1,000 multilingual bookstalls, 1.25 lakh people, one destination, the New Delhi World Book Fair 2024.
So it's a great honour to be here. Thank you to the National Book Trust and those that have embraced us over recent days.
I was at the London Book Fair once and I had not participated here, but this fair is an ocean and it's beautiful.
This should be your annual spring picnic.
Through the power of knowledge, we are going to create responsible citizens, global citizens with global skills and also global responsibility.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
India's ever-evolving urban landscape is witnessing a new revolution. And this one comes on 4 wheels.
The affluence has been growing. Cars are becoming more a reflection of what you are.
Nobody's talking about hatchbacks. Now what next? The next is the SUV.
The contribution of SUVs is close to 55-60% of the automobile sales these days.
Is that even manufacturers like to sell SUVs?
So, how did a nation obsessed with fuel economy come to love heavy gas-guzzling sports utility vehicles? Let's look at how India fell in love with the SUV.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
I try and convert almost everything in a kind of a mathematical formula.
You should always stretch more than you can reach.
Listening is very important.
Because if you don't listen, how would you know what the problem is?
Everybody who's working in and around me, their personal well-being is also a responsibility that I carry.
Great leaders have shared vision.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Welcome back. The other big news that we are tracking, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has been sent to judicial custody till 15th of April by the Rouse Avenue Court. This after ED said that Kejriwal had not been cooperating in the probe and was giving evasive answers during the questioning. Kejriwal was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate on 21st of March in an alleged money laundering case linked to the now scrapped Delhi liquor policy. Kejriwal's arrest has triggered protest in the national capital as well as the Punjab, both governed by the Aam Aadmi Party over the past few days. Earlier, the Delhi Chief Minister submitted before the court bench stating that in the 31,000-page document prepared by the ED, there is no concrete evidence or even allegations against him on the basis of which he has been arrested. That's the big news that we are following right now. Kejriwal has been sent to judicial custody until 15th of April. Kejriwal says what PM is doing is not good for the country. In the 31,000 report by the ED, Kejriwal has alleged that there are no allegations against him. Meanwhile, ED has said that Kejriwal was actually giving evasive answers or replies during questioning. He was evading the Enforcement Directorate.
अरविंद जी पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन के लाभ के लिए जुटा रामलीला मैदान क्या कहेंगे?
मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है।
अरविंद जी पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन के लाभ के लिए जुटा रामलीला मैदान क्या कहेंगे?
मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है।
अरविंद जी पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन के लाभ के लिए जुटा रामलीला मैदान क्या कहेंगे?
मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है।
अरविंद जी पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन के लाभ के लिए जुटा रामलीला मैदान क्या कहेंगे?
मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है।
K. Kavita, the daughter of former Chief Minister of Telangana, K. Chandrasekhar Rao, her bail plea is scheduled to be heard today in the liquor policy case. BRS leader and daughter of former Chief Minister, like I said earlier, K. Kavita has been sent to judicial custody until 9th of April by a Delhi court. Kavita was arrested by the ED on 15th of March in connection with the alleged liquor policy scam that has embroiled the city's ruling Aam Aadmi Party, and she has been in the agency's custody since then. Last week, her custody was extended to allow for confrontation with data extracted from her mobile phone. Moving on, acknowledging that India and the United States are working together in the investigation of the alleged foiled assassination plot against Khalistani terrorist Gurpatwant Singh Pannoon, US Ambassador to India Eric Garcetti said that a red line should not be crossed between the two countries. Listen in.
India put together this commission of inquiry, put senior people who are experienced in law enforcement on that, and that they have been digging in on this side domestically to uncover any evidence that would show a murder for hire plot that included anybody who was from the Indian government. I think that's absolutely critical. For any of us, just abstractly, that has to be a red line. No government or government employee can be involved in the alleged assassination of one of your own citizens. That's just an unacceptable red line. Any country having an active member of their government involved in a second country trying to assassinate one of their citizens. That's, I think, usually a red line for any country. That's a basic issue of sovereignty. That's a basic issue of rights. And I'm very pleased. Again, this is, to use the metaphor before, if we have this incredible friendship, even marriage right now, this was maybe one of the first big conflicts, and we're actually not only coming through it, I think, strongly, but so far, everything that's been asked of the Indian government has been done, and I would say vice versa. Whenever there is accusations the other direction, we take that incredibly seriously.
Meanwhile, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar responded to US Ambassador Garcetti's red line statement on Pannoon case. He said that the US Ambassador, as an ambassador, will say what he thinks is the position of his government.
See, the US Ambassador, as an ambassador, obviously will say what he thinks is the thinking of his government or the position of his government. I will say what is the position of my government. And the position of my government is that in this particular case, there have been certain information which has been provided to us, which we are investigating. And it is something we are investigating because we believe our own national security interests are involved in that investigation. So as and when we have something to say on that investigation, we would be very glad to speak about it.
Prime Minister's recent interview with a Tamil channel, Tandi TV, where he addressed various issues ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, is being seen as the part of Prime Minister's big South push. Addressing BJP's prospects in Tamil Nadu, Modi emphasized positive support for the BJP NDA policies. Prime Minister Modi highlighted the BJP NDA alliance as inclusive and representative of people's aspirations in Tamil Nadu. Modi clarified that the votes for BJP NDA are not anti-DMK, but supportive of BJP's agenda. The Prime Minister added that the BJP holds no regrets over AIADMK's exit from the NDA. While speaking about BJP's road ahead in Tamil Nadu, Prime Minister also defended the electoral bond, citing its contribution to transparency amidst criticism. Prime Minister Modi said that he brought electoral bonds and hence the source of the funding is known today. That he introduced it and of course the source of the funding is therefore well known today. A severe storm struck parts of Jalpaiguri district in North Bengal, resulting in the tragic loss of at least 5 lives and injuring around 500 people. Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, promptly cancelled her scheduled engagements and arrived in Jalpaiguri to assess the situation. She visited the Jalpaiguri Super Specialty Hospital to meet with those affected by the cyclone and took stock of the damages. The storm hit several villages within a few square kilometers and lasted for 10 minutes, causing extensive damage to houses as well as several infrastructural buildings. Assuring full support from the administration, Chief Minister Banerjee emphasized that all necessary assistance is being provided to the affected families. She expressed gratitude to the administration for their swift response in managing the crisis and commended the efforts of medical personnel in providing care to the injured.
डिजास्टर हुआ एक ऐसा स्टॉर्म आया था कि 2-3 मिनट में बहुत सारे घर डैमेज हो गया, बहुत सारे आदमी को पूरा घर तोड़ गया और 5 आदमी मर गया और 2 अभी सीरियस भी है। तो जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को जो करना है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जरूर कर रहा है, दे आर ऑन द स्पॉट और वो करेगा भी उसका काम। एमसीसी कोड है, इसी के लिए हम डिटेल्स नहीं बता रही हूँ, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट पूरी उसका पास है। हम अभी जलपाईगुड़ी सदर में जा रहे हैं।
There has been loss of life, injuries have been there, houses have been damaged, crops have been damaged. We are all concerned about it. Yesterday itself, I had a detailed discussion with the National Disaster Management Authority members and the Secretary. They have been requested to supply reinforcement by way of men and materials if need be. They are all ready. All the agencies are acting together in unison. And as we know, my honorable esteemed constitutional colleague, the Chief Minister, has also reached the place. I will be there. I will visit the field, interact with the officials concerned, and understand the woes faced by the people. Then we'll take whatever decision is required, bring them mitigation and relief.
जो काम इनिशियली किया एनडीआरएफ ने किया, बाकी काम धीरे धीरे हो रहा है। फोटो सेशन ज्यादा हो रहा है, रेस्क्यू रिहैब और जो रिलीफ देने का काम वो ठीक नहीं हो रहा है। ज्यादा फोटो सेशन और भाषण हो रहा है। और क्या मिडनाइट में क्या काम है? इतना जल्दीबाजी का क्या है? हॉस्पिटल विजिट करना, जो डेथ विक्टिम है उनका फैमिली से मुलाकात सुबह तो हो सकता था, गवर्नर साहब ने किया, मैं जा रहा हूं, मैं करूंगा। पहले ना ये तो आप देखिए ना, दोहरा मापदंड। माल में जो हुआ था दुर्गा पूजा का विसर्जन का दिन, कहाँ थी चीफ मिनिस्टर? 3 हफ्ता बाद वहां आई, 3 हफ्ता बाद। तब तो वोट नहीं था, ये तो वोट के लिए, ये तो सबका उत्तर बंग मालूम है। उत्तर बंग में कोई जो वेदर रिपोर्ट कौन उसको मॉनिटर करता है? वीडियो करता है, डीएम करता है। कोई फोरकास्ट तो वेदर का फोरकास्ट था। यहाँ जब डिजास्टर होता है, साइक्लोन होता है, हड़प्पा बांध होता है, जो सिक्किम में कुछ दिन पहले हुआ, कोई फोरकास्ट और प्रिकॉशन कोई एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की ओर से, वीडियो, डीएम, एसडीओ, कोई माइकिंग कुछ है? यहाँ कोई मॉनिटरिंग है? दूसरा प्रदेश में मॉनिटरिंग है।
The Indian Air Force is all set to demonstrate its prowess and operational capabilities during the upcoming Gagan Shakti 2024 exercise, which is scheduled to take place from the 1st of April to the 10th of April. Gagan Shakti was previously conducted in 2018, where the IAF executed over 11,000 sorties across 2 phases. During this exercise, the force showcased its agility by swiftly transitioning its deployed assets from the western sector to the eastern front within 48 hours. The objective was to assess the IAF's preparedness for potential 2-front conflicts involving China and Pakistan. The maneuvers encompassed a wide spectrum of operations, including deep strikes, air dominance, maritime engagements and air defense strategies in anticipation of short and intense conflicts. Preceding Gagan Shakti 2024, the IAF conducted the Vayu Shakti 2024 exercise on 17th of February at the Pokhran air-to-ground range near Jaisalmer. This exercise witnessed the deployment of front-line assets such as Rafale fighter jets, Mirage 2000s, Tejas light combat aircraft, Jaguars, Chinook heavy-lift helicopters, Apache attack helicopters, unmanned aerial vehicles and surface-to-air missile systems. Looking ahead, the IAF plans to host the Tarang Shakti exercise later this year, anticipated to bring together 12 global air forces. This multinational exercise aims to enhance interoperability, share best practices and bolster military cooperation amongst participating nations. In a display of precision and might at Andaman and Nicobar, Dhruva BrahMos warriors successfully launched BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, striking the long-range target with precision and lethality. The BrahMos missile, one of the fastest cruise missiles in the world, capable of speeds around Mach 3, soared to great heights over the islands. BrahMos is a versatile missile system and is capable of being launched from various platforms, including ships, submarines, aircraft and land-based mobile launchers. The missile is well known for its precision strike capability. It makes the missile highly effective against both land and sea targets. BrahMos is a benchmark for advancement in missile technology and also boasts the strategic capabilities of the nations employing it. The schedule for the 2024 Lok Sabha elections has been announced, and with it, the Model Code of Conduct has come into effect. What really is prohibited under the Model Code of Conduct, or MCC? What's the penalty for the violation? News 9 Plus decodes this for you.
Elections for Lok Sabha 2024 will be held in 7 phases between April 19 and June 1. As soon as the Election Commission of India made this announcement, the Model Code of Conduct came into effect. The Model Code of Conduct, or MCC, is a set of guidelines that ensures free and fair elections. The MCC comes into effect from the day poll dates are announced and lasts till the result day. The set of guidelines addresses issues related to political speeches, the content of election manifestos, and the use of government resources in advertisements. Politicians cannot announce financial aid and development works that can benefit voters. Representatives of political parties are also barred from laying foundation stones for new projects. Political leaders are not allowed to make promises to voters related to the construction of roads, provisions for drinking water, food, or for providing jobs. Ministers and government authorities are prohibited from sanctioning or releasing funds for development works, which can influence voters. Then there are norms that restrict the use of government resources. Use of government transport, such as aircraft and vehicles, for election campaigns is not allowed. One of the norms relates to the restrictions on deploying government security personnel. However, the Prime Minister is allowed deployment of government personnel and vehicles because of security concerns. Public places where campaigning is held and helipads for air flights must be accessible to all political parties at the same terms and conditions. The Election Commission also prohibits parties from using public money for advertising in newspapers and electronic media. They are also prohibited from using the media to broadcast their achievements, which can influence voters. The Model Code of Conduct also prohibits politicians from making speeches that may spark tensions between castes, religions, and linguistic communities. They are also barred from seeking votes based on caste, religion, and language, using places of worship for election propaganda, bribing and intimidating voters, serving liquor to voters, canvassing within 100 meters of the polling booth, and holding public meetings 48 hours before closing of the polls. What happens when the Model Code of Conduct is violated? The Election Commission closely monitors the behavior of political parties and candidates during elections. The Election Commission issues notices to parties or politicians if found in violation of MCC norms. Further, the Election Commission can also file an FIR and take punitive action against violators.
Name a place and there is a marathon.
Running in the snow is a much more tougher thing than running just in the oil.
Everything is very different from the plains marathon.
जहाँ से मेरे को लगा था कि it would be a piece of cake. इसके लिए बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. जैसे दिखता है वैसा होता नहीं है सर.
It is definitely much more tougher.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Luxury is now becoming a need rather than something that you aspire to be. So that is adding a lot of fuel. Obviously, government has played a vital role in it.
In a city like Mumbai, a luxury home may be something upwards of rupees 10 crores. In city like Delhi, again maybe something upwards of 8-9 crores. But in Bangalore, we typically define a luxury home, anything which is upwards of about 3 crores.
It's a combination of increased wealth, availability of more luxurious homes, and simultaneously the overall economy doing better.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Film and entertainment is definitely one of the levers for any country to build its brand.
We are getting global. I feel that we're just on the takeoff.
More and more films are becoming language agnostic.
Content is a universal language.
There's one audience in the world.
Absolutely. End of the day, we all are like brothers who have mutual respect for each other from a different land.
Watch Allu Arjun on Duologue with Barun Das. Streaming on News 9+.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
We are trying a lot of experiments, innovations and ideas.
We came out with a new format in audio, which is audio series.
Listening for content-oriented company in India, which is a very unique proposition.
When we look at audio in general, we had music, which is like extremely old format, and then we had podcasts.
A natural extension to Pocket FM is to move from Hindi to regional content. I think I'd love to see their FY24 numbers, which they claim will be close to 1,000 crores. I think there are talks of them to raise another $80 to $100 million of funding.
This and more. Streaming on News 9+. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
A very good afternoon to all News 9 viewers. I'm Neha Bhan. Let's take a look at some of the top stories making headlines this hour. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has been sent to judicial custody till the 15th of April by the Rouse Avenue Court. Now, this comes after ED said that Kejriwal had not been cooperating in the probe and was giving evasive answers during his questioning. Kejriwal was arrested by the ED on the 21st of March in an alleged money laundering case linked to the now scrapped Delhi liquor policy. Kejriwal's arrest has triggered protests in the national capital and Punjab. Both these states' viewers is governed by the Aam Aadmi Party. Earlier, the Delhi Chief Minister submitted before the court bench stating that in the 31,000-page document prepared by the ED, there is no concrete evidence or allegations against him on the basis of which he has been arrested. Now, for those viewers who have just joined in, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has been remanded to judicial custody till the 15th of April. This is in connection with the liquor policy case. On the 21st of March, the ED had arrested Arvind Kejriwal in an alleged money laundering case linked to the now scrapped Delhi liquor policy. Kejriwal has alleged political vendetta and said that the ED does not have a concrete proof against the Delhi Chief Minister. There, in fact, Kejriwal, while he was in the court,